What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cold Takes from the Land.
Cold Takes from the Land, where you get the coldest takes from the hottest Cleveland sports fans.
And it's time for another week of the Cleveland Browns.
It's time!
Yes, it is, buddy. It sure fucking is.
Unfortunately, I could have gone another year without seeing what I saw last week.
Yeah, and that's why this is such an interesting week, because the Browns travel to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars, and last week left such a bad taste in our mouth that I almost am not looking forward to watching this.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I already saw that Wills is not going to be able to go, so if Conklin's not able to go as well, it might be another absolutely atrocious performance.
Yeah, and even if Conklin does go at left tackle, we have no clue how he's going to look on the opposite side of the line coming off those injuries. So, big concern for the offensive line once again. And the biggest one, we're going to be without David Njoku, which fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's a big blow to the offense, especially because Cooper had a pretty quiet week one. Jerry Jeudy, that's his first name.
Yes.
Jerry Jeudy looked fine, but the touchdown catch had like 25 yards, I think. But really missing Njoku there, that's going to be tough. I'm kind of interested to see what you think as far as predictions go, because this is a week where it's the way we're playing, they could easily beat us. But I'm curious to see what your score is going to be.
Yeah, I don't feel great, I'll be honest. I would have felt better, having an Njoku, and if Deshaun Watson would have just showed any semblance of an ability to fucking throw a football last week. So, you know.
Do you want to touch on that really quick too? Just all the news that has come out in the past week since we recorded on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, we can quickly go over that. So as for, everyone knows at this point, another allegation has come out. If you've read the details, it's really bad. It borderlines on words I can't say on YouTube, and it doesn't look good. And apparently there's video evidence, and the person who is accusing Mr. Deshaun Watson is meeting with the league to discuss it, I think in a week or two, and apparently there's a video, and this looks really bad. Now from a personal standpoint, fuck this guy at this point. I think we can all agree.
Right.
I don't think there's much else to say other than that. And from a football standpoint, if he's playing the way he did against Dallas and just has completely lost it, there's a world where if there's some validity to these claims, he could get suspended and then have the rest of his guarantees on his contract voided, which might be the best case at this point. I'm not. That's all I really have to say.
It's almost a lose-lose situation for us, because if he starts playing well, there's a good chance that he's going to be reprimanded in some way, whether he ends up on the exempt list or, like you just touched on, gets suspended. And if he doesn't, the best case scenario, honestly, is if, not even a great scenario here, he plays like shit and we continue to lose, but we get $138 million back. So.
Yeah, so we'll see how that situation unfolds, but as of right now, we have to discuss the Browns with Deshaun at quarterback, as he's looking like he's going to play. Do I think he's going to play well? I'll be honest, no, but we'll get to that with our 3 keys to victory, and I think I'm ready to get into those if you are.
Yep, I'm ready to go whenever you are.
All right, my first key to victory is, for the love of God, Kevin Stefanski. I need you to call a strategic game in terms of the passing game. You need to make this shit fucking speak and spell easy for Deshaun, because if we're gonna have any rhythm to throw the ball, he's got to get going somehow. Last week, I think they were kind of safe early, but then we went down, so they tried to let him open it up, and he wasn't on time. He was airmailing footballs. He just looked bad. We already went through all this shit last week. Obviously, if Conklin plays at left tackle, even if he struggles a bit switching sides, I still think that bodes really well for us from a run blocking standpoint. So maybe we can get the run game going set up a little play action, but I want to see some easy shit for Deshaun. Some screens, some quick dump offs, get your playmakers, the ball in space, and just try to do everything possible to make Deshaun feel comfortable, because we're going to get killed if he doesn't.
Yeah, I completely agree with all that. My first point, another thing last week that looked absolutely atrocious was the offensive line. I don't expect them to be a damn near top 5 offensive line with guys missing that we have out, but if they can just be decent, I mean, we got to be able to protect up front. I know they kind of came out this week, and on the stat sheet, they attributed all 6 sacks to Deshaun Watson and none to the offensive line, but that doesn't mean that the offensive line looked good.
It still was
like
not good,
ass.
and I don't know if I would agree with that, even if you want to get technical, but...
Yeah, it looked pretty freaking awful, and I'll touch on this in one of my upcoming points too, but like, we got to run blocking. We got to get something going there. We got to establish some force up front, give Deshaun a little bit of time. I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do. Again, he's looked like shit, obviously week 1 and most of his Browns career, but offensive line's going to have to play a better game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. DeJuan Jones in specific needs to get better at run blocking. A guy his size, normally you would think of the opposite, where he'd be a bulldozer in the run game, but he would struggle in the pass game. It's actually flipped. He's pretty solid in the pass game. He's held up really well against top-tier edge rushers, and, for as bad as the offensive line was last week, he still had some pretty good moments against Micah Parsons last week in the pass protection, but he does kind of struggle to run block. Sometimes he'll kind of catch himself in space and be a little, he can be a little clumsy at times. He'll kind of not know where he is with his feet. So hopefully, obviously, just experience will clean that up, and hopefully Conklin playing at left tackle will help the run blocking.
Let's hope. My God, I don't know if I can deal with another week of Hudson, my friend.
Yeah, it's hopefully that doesn't happen. Now, luckily, we're not playing against Micah Parsons. The Jacksonville Jaguars front 4 is pretty solid still. I was
going to say, it's still a good front 4.
It's clearly the best part of their defense. Obviously, you have Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, who former number 1 overall pick, and Eric Armstead are the main guys there. So, it's definitely a team that can still give you problems from a defensive line standpoint, but at least you don't have to deal with someone like Micah Parsons this week, so hopefully it fares better.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with you there from the offensive line front. And for my second key to victory, it's generate some pass rush. We did a pretty decent job of getting the pass rush going at times, but I hope Jim Schwartz can throw some exotic blitzes, mix things up, mix up personnel. I think it's going to be really important to pressure Trevor Lawrence this week. Let's get Garrett going. Let's get Zadarius going. He's been kind of a slow start once again this year. Let's get Obo in there, get him going. Let's get these interior guys, get them coming with a head of steam. I'd like to see JOK come in, get sent in on some blitzes, even Grant Delpit. I want to see that aggressiveness on those passing downs because Jacksonville does have the weapons to make you pay. You got ETN, Gabe Davis, that rookie Brian Thomas Jr., who looks really fucking good, and then Christian Kirk, who's fucking awesome in the slot as well. So you want to keep the ball out of their hands and put a bunch of pressure on Trevor Lawrence, to get some sacks, tackles for loss early, and put him behind the sticks because you don't want him to get ahead, especially when we're so unsure what we're going to get from the offense.
Yeah, our offense, I'll just add on to that, our offense needs to do a much better job of giving the defense time to rest because they were absolutely, by the third quarter, they were absolutely gassed already.
Right.
So offense needs to do a better job, which is going to lead into my second point, control time of possession. Because last week was not good. We just got absolutely blasted most of the game outside of the very first drive looked decent where we got the field goal, and then we got absolutely slapped around for most of the game, and then in garbage time, we had that he had a touchdown pass to Jerry Jeudy, and then Jerome Ford at the very, very end of the game got that rushing touchdown. But we need to do a better job taking care of the defense because we have the guys that can make plays. Like we said last year, this defense isn't predicated on turnovers, but they're going to come. So with the talent we have, just play our game, and then hopefully we get a turnover or two out there. But it all starts up front and controlling that time of possession, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. It's... As I say, we got to keep the ball out of the Jacksonville Jaguars playmakers' hands. Part of that is their offense not being on the field. So,
right.
I definitely agree with you there. there's not really a whole lot to dispute, so I'll just get into my last key to victory. And my final key to victory, I'm taking a little dip into the well of yours from last year. Let's win the turnover battle. We always seem, not we always, but last week, Deshaun threw a couple interceptions, did not look very good. You don't want to get sloppy with the ball. I don't want to see any crazy fumbles or anything like that. With controlling the time of possession, you have to be able to control the ball and not give up silly turnovers, not have Watson throwing bad interceptions, Jerome Ford, hopefully no fumbles or anything like that, no botch snaps, anything like that. Let's just play a clean form of football, even if it might get a little iffy at times in terms of the offensive firepower, but if we can limit the turnovers and cause some havoc on defense, we can definitely win this game because we clearly out-talent Jacksonville. There's just a few variables that kind of lead into it, and I think it would help if we just didn't turn the damn ball over.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with that. If you look at our talent on paper, we out-talent damn near about every team in the league. It's just going out there, executing, like you said, playing a clean game. I mean, in the first half, how many freaking what the hell penalties were there? They were like moving screens or something. Like they kept calling the weirdest shit on us, and we got like 5 of them.
Yeah, with like illegal formations and stuff.
Yeah, illegal formations is what it was. Yeah, I was like, what are we doing?
To be fair, that penalty has been league wide, just because they've been like overly stressing the offensive lineman getting properly lined up. So I would think that would be cleaned up just from getting used to how they're calling it, hopefully.
To be fair, though, the Cowboys are #1 in penalties freaking every year, it seems like, and they seem to absolutely wipe the floor with us. I mean, they got a few penalties here and there, but freaking it seemed like we were getting penalties at twice the rate they were.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting penalized a lot in general, so I still agree with you for sure.
Yeah, and then my final point, too, is a very simple one. We got to get some sort of a run game going here. I mean, I don't expect the world from Jerome Ford, but do what you can with him. Maybe get Foreman in there a little bit because we didn't really see him at all last week. I think Pierre Strong was a little nicked up again coming out of the game, but get them going a little bit. I don't expect 80 or 100 yards or anything, but try to get them rolling. You have to establish the run game a bit, and then maybe even kind of see what you can do with Watson, because coming into the season, as you know, I was very not about Deshaun Watson running the ball, but at this point, we don't even know if he's our franchise guy at this point anymore, so fuck it. Run some read options, get him out there in space, see what he can do. He was kind of slow last week, and it looked like he was running through quicksand a bit, but maybe get him moving a little bit. We just need to try anything we can to get this offense going, because if last week is any indication of what this year's going to be like, it ain't good. But
yeah, definitely not a very optimistic week for us. I was getting ready to say, maybe let's just get Deshaun Watson moving on the run.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, the offense, it did not look like a 2-time coach of the year running the offense last week. So to your first point, let's see if Stefanski can bounce back, which I have faith he will. He always does. He's good at making adjustments. So I just like to see a little bit more of that in the actual game and at halftime rather than us playing 4 quarters of absolute shit football.
Yeah, a lot of people, there was a handful of people, a good bit, criticizing Kevin Stefanski and Ken Dorsey over like the game plan and the play calling. I think it's just kind of natural because there's a lot of new stuff in the offense, and when Deshaun was already playing so horrendously, like it's kind of hard to make the play calling look great. So I have faith in them, to bounce back and, work out the kinks in this offense. And that's not even just for Deshaun, that's for, the offensive line, the receivers, the skill players in general. So I have faith in Stefanski to dial up something here, playing a much less intimidating defense this week. So you would think this is the week we can get some shit going. If Deshaun magically reverts to his Houston form, that'd be great. I am far from expecting that, but I at least expect some better football.
Not expecting, but this would be our luck for him to play a couple Houston Deshaun Watson games, and then he's just fucking never plays in the NFL again.
Fuck it, whatever. I don't really care at this point. I'm so down right now on this team just because of all the shit surrounding it, and then now we're getting hit with injuries again, and
I feel bad for Stefanski too. You could tell when he's answering interviews, like he just looks exhausted. Like it looks like he doesn't want to deal with answering these questions about this guy that he probably doesn't give a single fuck about anymore. And it'd be different if he was out there freaking playing like Josh Allen, like you said, reverting to the Houston Deshaun Watson. But
right.
when the guy's not producing on the field, it's like Kevin Stefanski just looks like he's absolutely over it.
No, exactly. And, to your point, I mean, the whole thing about bringing him in was clearly, I mean, obviously this is all speculation, but it seems very much it has, the Haslam's fingerprints all over it. And, I hope if this shit continues to blow up and whether he gets suspended and we void the deal, which is best case scenario, or he just plays like ass and we have to cut him and he eat that money, whatever way. I hope this is the last straw for, Haslam to be like, all right, I'm just going to stay off of anything football related as he should. Yeah. I think I'm ready for.
We botched that whole situation with Baker and everything. The fact that they burned the bridge with Baker, and then out of desperation, we send this fucking Hail Mary attempt of $230 million guaranteed at Watson, which he ends up taking because if you remember, he confirmed he was pretty much going to the Falcons and then backed out of that. So
yeah, it looked very close at that point.
Crazy few years, man. It's been nuts.
Yeah, it's been something, buddy. You ready?
Yep. We might be drafting a quarterback again. We got a first-round pick finally.
Yeah, I thought we got away from this bullshit, but you want to give a prediction, buddy?
Yeah, this is very much me predicting with my heart, not my head. I think it's going to be a shitty game again. I think both offenses are going to look pretty bad, just based off of what I've seen in the first 3 weeks of the season, the last few years. Most starters for most teams aren't playing in the preseason, so the first 3 games tend to be their preseason games. I expect it to be pretty low scoring. There's going to be a lot of penalties on both sides, I think. But I'm going to say the Browns eke one out. I'm going to say we win 14-13.
Oh, wow.
Because we need to win. If we don't, I mean, I hate to say it's a must win in week 2, but you need this win. You can't, This is the winnable part of your schedule. If you go 0-2, I hate to say it, fucking good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, your score is actually really close to mine. However, I think the way we get there is a bit different. I don't know, this might be a little bold, but I think it's going to be ugly. I think the penalties will be cleaned up a little bit. I just think the offense is going to look ugly. I think we're going to be a little better running the ball, but I do ultimately...
I hope you can't be much worse. Shit.
That's true. But I do ultimately think that Deshaun's going to come out and he's not going to look very good. I think it's going to be a lot of similar problems. I think it's going to be a lot of, not being quite on time, throwing downfield. He's going to miss some throws. And I think the offense is going to fucking be a sludge for about 2.5 quarters, maybe 3 quarters. And my hot take is I think we're going to see Jameis Winston by the end of this game.
Damn. You think so, huh?
I think what's going to happen, we're going to be down, I'm going to say by a score of, I don't know, let's think here, like 14 to 6 or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Or 14-9. I say the score is going to be 14-9. We're going to be towards the end of the third quarter. Jameis is going to get put in the game after a terrible interception from Deshaun or a fumble or him looking like shit in general. And I think as soon as Jameis enters the game, the offense will spark a little bit. Obviously, it's hard to really make something crazy happen in the middle of a game, but I think the ball's immediately going to be easier to move. I think we're going to go down and score. I think we'll get a touchdown. I think Jameis will throw a touchdown. Actually, hot take. Say he throws one to Amari. I think we'll take the lead, but then I personally feel like, as much as I love our defense, I feel like the defense will still be a bit exhausted just because of the amount of time they've been on the field, because of the time Deshaun was in the game, and I ultimately see us losing on a game-winning field goal to the Jaguars, 17-16, as much as I hate to say it.
I don't know if my heart can take it, my friend. I don't know if it can. That is a very interesting end of the game, though, that you predicted, because like we said before, if that happens, Deshaun's done. I mean, he's officially your backup, or you got to either trade him or cut him at that point, because once you make the move, I mean, I hope you're right, too, because I've seen fucking all I can stand of Deshaun Watson. I can't stand no more. But right. I think Haslam's going to fucking not be in his ear, but Stefanski's not going to make the move because fucking Haslam paid the guy $230 million. But I hope you're right, man. I think at the earliest is week 5 or so when we see an actual swap to Jameis Winston.
I don't know. I'm feeling a little spicy today, so maybe that's why I predicted that. I hope I'm wrong. Part of me hopes I'm right.
Or maybe Stefanski says, fuck it. I mean, he got a new contract. Andrew Berry got a new contract, so maybe he's like, I'm taking Austin's view. I've had all I can stand and I can't stand no more, and he fucking pulls him.
He'll be.
He's got his money. He's got his guaranteed year.
Deshaun will throw.
He's not coaching for a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Deshaun will throw 2 picks in the first half, and Kevin will go in the locker room and be like, "I am absolutely beside myself."
Yeah, literally. I mean, shit. It's a move you can get away with if it works. Like if Winston comes in, like you said, drives us down the field. I mean, shit. He's basically like freaking Flacco, but he's 9 years younger. So it's like
very
he's gonna
similar.
throw picks, but shit, I'd rather a guy give our guys chances to catch the ball than Deshaun Watson, who's holding onto the ball, getting sacked, rolling out, rolling into sacks, not giving a chance for anybody to make anything happen. I mean, interceptions suck, but it's like some of the most exciting players to watch of all time are like guys like Brett Favre. Flacco at the end of our year last year was the best quarterback play I've seen in my lifetime. So it's like, shit, like you're going to throw picks, but with the defense we have, you can win with that.
Exactly. So yeah, not a happy prediction for me, but ultimately...
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think we're 0-2 after this game, but I'm going to say we barely eke one out because we absolutely need to. We'll know a lot about our team after this week, too. If the effort's not there again, if Stefanski and everybody look upset on the sidelines, like the body language of even Amari Cooper was off, and he's like the Nick Chubb of wide receivers. He never really gets too hot or too cold, so we'll be able to tell a lot. I mean, you can tell already this is kind of like taking a toll on the locker room. So
that's kind of part of my prediction because I feel like if Jameis gets in the game or gets in any game in general, like it feels like life will be put back into the team. And I just feel like that's how it's going to be. I think it's going to be very similar to when Flacco came in last year, just because they're very similar players. He's going to go out there. He's going to let the ball rip. He's going to give guys chances. He's going to make it fun. It's going to, it's going to help open up the run game because he's actually going to be a threat throwing the ball downfield. But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. I mean, if he does get in, I think it's better sooner than later because we need to start winning some of these winnable games we have in the first 5 weeks. And who knows if he is, like we said, second coming of Flacco, if he gets in there, maybe he can lead us to the playoffs and turn this season around. If that happens, I mean, I expect kind of the similar exit that we had last year, where probably a first-round exit, just because as much as I love Flacco and I think Winston's very similar to him, he's going to get you to the big game and then he's going to revert to what he does, throwing interceptions and freaking revert to the norm. I mean, Flacco's one time where he didn't. He went on that fucking hellacious Peyton Manning playoff run and just absolutely torched everybody for that year. And outside of that, he was throwing interceptions and doing his regular thing. So
yeah, shit, I'll take that over Deshaun Watson. So
yeah, so will I, man. I mean, and we were like, for the most part, like you and I have defended him. We've defended him against our friend, our one buddy Steve. We've defended him for a long time. It's just, and I get he hasn't played many games, but it's like, man, like at some point people show flashes. I mean, like even Kyler Murray, who I don't think is an elite quarterback, he still gives you those plays that he makes. And it's like Watson just hasn't done that. Like there haven't been many throws. There's been maybe like 3 throws in all the games he's played where I've been like, cool, that's great. Like you look at it and you're like, that's what we need right there. And then outside of that, he just can't string anything consistent together.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll see what happens, buddy. And with that, that was our predictions, our preview, our thoughts, our rant, our depression going into this week. But it's going to be an interesting weekend. Hopefully it'll be a lot better for us this week. And we appreciate you guys for listening. We surpassed 50 subscribers, buddy. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't see that. No, last time I looked, it was a couple days ago. We had 49.
We're
so
at
that's
51.
Awesome.
There's an Uno after the 5. So this is the start to 1 million subs, a billion views, biggest Cleveland sports channel on YouTube. It's going to fucking happen. We appreciate it. And it's only going to go up from here. I don't know about the football, but the channel.
We're going to have a playoff guards video coming out soon, too. We got to get that done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But once again, it's been another episode of Cold Takes from the Land, and we will see you in the next one.
Cold Takes from the Land.